The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show Sunday Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Thank you once again for joining me. All platforms are over here on Ryback TV, on YouTube, Ryback Rules on Twitch, Periscope, Twitter at Ryback. Hoping to start seeing a little more engagement over there on that platform. And as always, Instagram and TikTok, we are streaming from live. The big guy, Ryback 22. TikTok, it looks like we're going to hit 1.3 million fairly soon here on that, and hoping for some better engagement moving forward as well on Instagram. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm fasting deep into a partial dry fast / water fast, having my coffee and some Pumplex City as we speak. And resting, complete day of rest on the shoulder now. Actually was scheduled to have a session on it, and it got canceled. So I'll probably won't be able to get that in until Wednesday. But I think it was a good thing because I haven't given it any rest all week, and I broke up a lot of scar tissue the past 2 days. So did the cold tub, hot tub, pool earlier. And just letting the body, just one day of nothing as far as workout, no cardio, nothing. And so here we are, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty hungry. So I'm looking forward to probably breaking this fast here within the next 2 or 3 hours on that. Seeing what do we got going on? What comments, questions, health, nutrition, supplementation, mindset, pro wrestling, what's going on? Hope everyone enjoyed the fights yesterday. It was what a night of fights. Another great card by the UFC. The ending was obviously horrific. So I said the one thing I didn't want to see again. Just wanted to see good fights and no ankle breaks, no arm breaks, no leg breaks, and well, we were given another ankle / leg break and a very, very just horrific one at that. We could talk more about that. And I put up my stuff on Instagram today, which I feel is a very accurate take on actually what happened with the whole thing. Questions. Did I watch the soccer match? No, I'm not. I played soccer growing up, guys. I haven't watched a soccer. I'm not a soccer guy. I'm not a Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett, Drew McIntyre. You know, those guys, Sheamus. Those are your soccer guys. I couldn't tell you anything about it past what I grew up. I loved it when I was growing up. As far as playing, it's one of those deals. You know, I watched baseball growing up because I played baseball, but I never watched soccer because I played soccer, and I haven't as an adult. I know it's the most. It's by far the most famous sport worldwide, as far as probably the amount of people that are into it. I just never was my thing. I love. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it or anything. I don't watch a lot of TV in general. You know, if I put the TV on, I'm catching a little short bit of Shark Tank or Impractical Jokers for some laughs, and or watching a documentary on Netflix, trying to learn. That's what I enjoy. I've learned that I don't get too much enjoyment. I actually get very if I don't use my time in a valuable way, that tends to create more. Like I just feel like I need, especially with everything with what I'm doing and growing and building. I like to learn, and I feel that just that I get great enjoyment out of it. And I've learned as I've gotten older to focus on the things that give me enjoyment in a beneficial, positive way, if that makes sense. But man, don't get me wrong. If I was with Wade, we were having some beers, I would enjoy a soccer game solely just for the commentary of what me and Wade would be talking about during the game. Maple got asked, what are my thoughts on mass gainer? I've actually got a really good vegan mass gainer I've added into the mix with my pre-workout. I'll do that with my ISO Hungry plant-powered caramel cookie protein shake. I do 3 scoops of the ISO Hungry And then I do 2 scoops, which is half a serving. The full serving of the weight gainer I use it's called Naked Mass. It's actually a very good product, and the taste is very good. But a serving size is 4 scoops. It's 257 grams of carbs for the full thing and 50 grams of protein and low fat. I use half of that, so I get about 125, 127, somewhere in that vicinity, grams of carbs, 130 grams of carbs. But I also add a tablespoon of natural peanut butter in as well. And I get about close to, with the peanut butter, I get about 90 grams of protein, 130, 132 grams of carbs, and just a little bit of fat there from the peanut butter. And that's what I take prior to going to the gym as my meal 2 for the day. That's been the routine. I think it's good. And I cut down, they have a little bit of sugars in it, but I'm not taking the full serving. I think they have more sugars in it than I would actually. With the brand formula that we're going to do is not going to be heavy in sugars at all. I'm not a fan of putting sugars and that stuff. I do know you do need to put a little bit though for probably flavoring, because this one's a natural vegan one, a chocolate, but and it only has 5 ingredients, which is fantastic. So like it's cool to see another company make some really great quality products, and I have no problem promoting them because I don't have a mass gainer. And like I said, I always tell you straight up, I think a lot of the companies are absolute shit. And I don't like they're in it solely for the money, but it's nice. And I don't feel threatened that other companies are doing the right thing. I think it's great and there's more than enough room for everybody to sell and do the right thing. And it doesn't stop the other formulas that I have that I think are very unique. And I don't see any other companies doing, quite frankly, with the value we're given. But this weight gainer is kick-ass by Naked Mass. You can get that online at Amazon, and I find it to be very, very high quality. You're welcome, Anthony. You're very welcome, buddy. I will say, with what I saw last night too on the UFC card, man, what a you know what fight I really enjoyed, where I was on the edge of my seat outside of the Conor Dustin fight, was the Sean O'Malley fight. And man, and I apologize to the guy he fought, his name, and I put out a tweet. I go, did this guy take a bunch of drugs before this thing? I've never seen another human being take that amount of damage. And he got knocked down that first round. I think if that time didn't run out in the first round, I think Sean would have finished him. But within the rules of the fight, he didn't. And then he never got him back down. But it was like what a story I thought that told. It's like this zombie Terminator just kept coming at him. He hit it with 280 or 200 and something significant strikes, which is unheard of. I think it's like a record as far as that goes, or at least it's up there. And I think they said it was a record. And this guy, just bloodied and battered, just kept coming. And it was like you could tell Sean, and you know how tired you have to eventually get throwing that many strikes just over and over and over. And the guy just never at any point, not one point in the entire thing outside of when he got knocked down, he just kept moving forward and pressing him in the entire fight until they stopped it, which I would have liked. My thing is, you let it go that long, let it go another 20 seconds because it would have been nice to see for Sean. I'm sure he wanted to knock him out to have that, because a lot of people but the performance was absolutely outstanding. And the other guy, you got to just say, holy hell. And now I want to know, I don't know. I think the guy has 4 or 5 losses, and I don't think he was even signed to UFC before this. I want to know if he's ever been knocked out, because that I've never seen anybody with that. And Sean has finished guys to where it was just, man, that fight right there, it got your money's worth for the pay-per-view, but for the ESPN Plus deal. But the Conor fight, that was, man, I put out my post on Instagram on this because I saw it as soon as it happened. And I even saw it into the build. A lot of people, it was the 2 stories was if he wins, all of a sudden he's one of the greatest again. But if he loses, he's washed up, he's done. And I go, okay, I could see what they're going to, because the media and the people, they do things will get as much attention as humanly possible. But let alone, you have to see how the thing plays out. There's so many ways you could win or lose, right? That where your stock can go up either way, depending on how everything goes. But in credit to Dustin. Dustin was the winner in that, in with the way that the fight went. But what they weren't covering, and what I saw right away after going back and seeing it, and maybe no one picked up on it right away, but it was the guy, Connor, broke or fractured his ankle/leg very early on into this, in which Dustin pointed out, and it said he felt the crack. And to the story, I just thought they were kind of shitting on Connor for going for a guillotine. It all makes perfect sense now why that fight ended up going the way that it went. And because me breaking my ankle and knowing right away and wrestling and finishing a match with it and spiral breaking my leg, guys, you go into panic mode. And I remember not even knowing exactly what was going on with my foot dangling and my leg breaking all the way up. And to know, and this isn't comparing it to what they're doing, but I don't know a lot of people that would have done what I've done. And then to look at this guy in a real fight environment where everything on his mind is he had to win this fight going in. That's his mindset, right? With everything and the criticism, and this was a big fight for him. So knowing there's no way he absolutely knew he was fucked the moment that happened. I guarantee you. But that guy, as much as you don't have to agree, and I don't agree with all the antics at times, but he knows how to sell fights better than anybody. And sometimes he makes it more personal than what people would like. But the guy sells fights at the end of the day. But he stayed cool, calm, and collected and still fought that entire round with that thing fucked up, which I don't think a lot of people would have done. And he didn't even sell it until it finally snapped in half at the very end. But it makes sense why he went for the guillotine when he did, and having that, and then in what he was doing and supposedly pulling on the gloves. And you can't condone anything, but I'm good at, you just put yourself in that mindset, in that frame where you're fighting on your back for your life. You don't want to get knocked out again, right? Because no one's going to care, you're using the ankle as an excuse, but doing anything you can to try to survive, pure survival mode. And that is a heroic performance, regardless of if you I like both guys, and I think both guys are absolutely amazing fighters. And so, I think it's good having Connor in the fight game, but I'm very happy for Dustin and want to see him go on, and I want to see him win the championship with that. But you look at it, it just all makes more sense how it all played out and what happened. But Dustin was the winner based off of everything that happened. And he was, but I don't think that fight goes to the ground when it did, had he not had that break on that. But it's always interesting to see how the people will cover things and how they're covering. It's like a Rocky movie. I said they're making him out now to be the guy with the successful business that has all the money, isn't hungry anymore. I saw that Tim Grover guy put out some shit talking about a bus ride to hell. That motherfucker's never even, man, whatever. I know he's done some work with top people, but man, if you haven't been in there and to know what that guy did, man, I see people he's not hungry and this and that. And the guy just fought an entire round that I don't think anybody else could have done or would have done and not sold it. So I think you can always focus on a positive or a negative on things. And it's always interesting to see which way they'll take it. But the narrative now is the negative with him, where the media, I think, is going to try to, because it's going to get more eyeballs and viewers and things. And is he done and this and that, which who knows? It depends on the nerve damage with this and going through and having nerve damage. That's a whole other thing that you don't know the damage done until they go in there and until the recovery. You snap your ankle and you're messing around and nerves are severed. I mean, you can be fucked. So we have to wait and see what happens on that end. But I look at it, despite what you think you never want to see, and I know people are saying karma and this and that, and I'm not going to sit there and disagree with anything. You never want to see anybody get hurt, but regardless, it happened, and I think that it deserves a shit ton of credit for fighting that round the way that he fought that round. It makes you look at the fight entirely different. if you do that. And granted, but credit to Dustin, because that's the game. And he checked it, or whatever happened on that situation. But I'm always fascinated by how people will interpret things and this and that, and in the media to get eyeballs on things. And, I'm pulling for him, though. I hope he has a quick recovery. Bone breaks are usually 4 to 5 months, maybe 6 months. A break like that's probably longer. And I know something that helped me, even with all my nerve damage, my bones healed in 2.5 to 3 months. And I was taking a whole food calcium the entire time. And a new chapter, whole food calcium. And it really, really sped up the recovery on the bone recovering. I remember they did x-rays really early on, and they're like, your bones are healed, but I was all messed up because of all the nerve damage. And I go, well, I'm not healed. I can tell you that much. My foot was dead and my toe wasn't working. But a horrific incident. And I tell you, those leg breaks and shit we see on there, I don't like to see those, because I just know, not that I can see them or watch them all day long. I'm not even squeamish. I just know from living it, the damage that can be done. You're never, my ankle's never been the same. Even though I could run and do everything, my big toe still doesn't go up. The nerve's never regenerated into the big toe yet. We've done the stem cells in them, and I'm hoping over time that they regenerate back into that tendon. But you just never know with that stuff. Oh, what a cool comment right here. And also someone saying I'm bald. Well, obviously I shave my head every other day. If we want to do a Ryback hair challenge, guys, I can look like Fabio in 90 days. You want to do a hair challenge? I don't want to do it, though. I don't think I look better bald. I don't want to go down that road, but damn it, if we got to prove a point to some of you, nice big guy beard and luscious long locks. Is that what it's going to take to convince you guys? I shave my head every other day. Stratos O2 says, Ryback, I've been a vegan for 36 days and could say I'm never eating meat again, and have realized that meat is unnecessary for the human diet. And man, that's why I said the 90-day vegan challenge for everyone. And I think there will be people that do go back that don't want to do it, that will find whatever reason. But I think if you give it a fair shake, you're going to get more people that are saying exactly what you're saying, and realizing what you're realizing is once you go a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, and your body clears out and you see the difference, you're going to be like, why go back? And there's so many, the foods and the options that we have, and to the Beyond Meats and the plant-based meats, there's so much to this that you can add in where it's easier than ever. And I'm still a big believer in, like I said, I cook all my beans, my quinoa, my lentils, and all that in advance, and my vegetables, and I cut them up and put them in my performance meals. But those plant-based meats do make it a little easier. And eating out, the restaurants in Vegas, second to none in my opinion. And I'm sure Cali has a lot of great ones too. And I've heard a few other places, but Vegas is quickly at the top of that list for the amount of options. Jonathan asks, do I feed my dogs a vegan diet? Yes and no. So they do a lot of fruits, different fruits in the morning. When I make my fruit bowl, they get like some they have strawberries, a little bit of banana, a little bit of blueberries. They love carrots. They love celery. And I just cut them up and give them little pieces as little snacks. And I find, and that's, by the way, far cheaper than buying dog treats, and they're far better for them. I do a canned vegan food, which I get on Amazon. I order that, and I give them half a can of that every day with their morning meal. We make them ground chicken or processed chicken and vegetables in a processor, kind of like those dog food companies, like the farmer's dog. And there's a few other brands online companies, and it was just far cheaper to do it ourselves. And what my mother actually does it every 2 weeks, every 10 to 2 weeks, I think. All new food for them. And we bag it up and put it in the freezer, and I keep a couple of them in the refrigerator and put half of that with half of their the canned food each with that. And I put a little quinoa in there because I have a big bowl of quinoa for me. They love quinoa, I found out, and it's good for them. So I use a little bit of quinoa in their food too with that. So they eat a very heavy plant-based diet, but we do keep the chicken in there for the time being, and give them a high quality chicken at that, as far as is not the ones with the antibiotics or anything like that. But I think it's going to be something. The dog that lived the longest, the documented, I think was 20 something years, was vegan. I think dogs can thrive on the diet as us. But I do know dogs can also eat meat and things. So I think it's just they eat all their food. We don't give them a lot of the chicken, but we give them enough. And it is something I've thought about. And I think I will experiment over time and seeing if we switch out the animal protein with the plant-based proteins like lentils. I got to see what foods for dogs, and the quinoa they love. That I know is good. So, but right now that's what we're doing. And like I said, Sophie has been better than ever. And little guy, their energy, they're happy. And yeah. Good to see all of you guys. I am doing fantastic today. Thank you. Appreciate everyone joining. As always, guys, this podcast, this show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, premium supplements for men and women, vegan friendly, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no artificial sweeteners or colors. We're giving away, guys, it ends at midnight tonight, by the way, the free gym bag, the free hungry gym bag. We have lifting straps, the Feed Me More Nutrition lifting straps with the padding on the inside, and workout gloves. A $70 value is yours free with all orders $60 and over with discount code WEEKENDBUNDLE. It's in the description on YouTube, and it'll be in the comments as well, pinned. Weekend Bundle, just spend $60 in your cart, go to weight belts and accessories, add the bundle of the gym bag, lifting straps, and workout gloves, and then just use discount code Weekend Bundle at checkout, and that $70 value is yours free, guys, with all purchases $60 and up until midnight Pacific tonight. So cash in on that if you want some Feed Me More Nutrition hungry gear for the gym. I'm a huge fan of creatine. I take 10 grams a day. It's one of the most researched and studied supplements on the planet. It has been proven time and time again, and I speak from experience. It noticeably increases your power and your strength on that, and it is great for putting on size, because if you're able to lift more weight, you could build more muscle with that, especially if you fuel it with the quality calories and food. I am a huge fan of creatine. I think for vegans too, I think it is, even though we make our own creatine, I think it is very beneficial to people that follow a plant-based vegan lifestyle as well. But even for non-vegans, I think our 10-count creatine, using 10 different creatines, and the primary one is creatine monohydrate, which has the most research behind it. But I'm a big fan of the creatine blends, and always found I got my best results on the blends more than just using the monohydrate by itself. Why that is, I don't know. I just know I'm a fan of it. And that's what I deliver to you guys. And we've also added Glycer Pump with our 10-count creatine, which if you like, I mix it with my Pumplexity, and I drink the majority of it right before my workout. And then I'll fill my water bottle up and drink it at the gym and sip on the remaining bit of it. But it greatly, Glycer Pump is great for pump, as well as our Pumplexity. It's a great stack with that, or the Wake Up Unlimited Energy. But I do the Wake Up in the morning. First thing when I get up 6 a.m., I do a serving of the Wake Up Unlimited Energy and do all my morning work for hours. And that's the routine that I love. And I always do my coffee pre-workout. What else do we got? Good question, Jonathan. I actually just got a delivery today that I can't wait to try. And you said, do I still use hot sauce while watching sodium? And so I just ordered a no sodium hot sauce. I tried another one. It wasn't great. It's not horrible, but it doesn't taste like hot sauce. This one actually smells like hot sauce. And I'll post it on after I use it tonight on my meal. I'll be able to, and I'll taste it on its own as well. I'll be able to give you an update, and I'll give you the name of that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I ordered it on Amazon. But what I've done, and this is important, because I found with you guys, sodium is something so important. And I think too, it depends on our activity level. There's another great book I'm going to recommend called The Salt Fix. This is Salt Wars is a book that talks a bit about the lower sodium in the 1500 to 2300 range. The problem with Salt Wars is, and after listening to the Salt Fix, and even in looking up some more information and watching some videos by Dr. Berg, who I'd interviewed before on the show, is I was over consuming sodium, but sodium is super important, and especially the quality, and like pink Himalayan sea salt and some different iodized sea salt, because this is a very individual thing. Because I told you guys I sweat a lot and I train very hard. And there's other things I'm learning. I drink a fair amount of coffee, which, by the way, if you drink 4 cups of coffee a day, 4 cups, I would say, and I do like this, a large Starbucks coffee, I would say is probably 2.5 cups of coffee. And I'll do a K-cup, and then I have my wake up limited energy. But 4 cups of coffee, they say that alone eliminates 1.2 grams of sodium. So you got to understand, and this is something that I was told by people, but other people don't tell you there's a cap on this too. And this is what I'm learning is from an individual standpoint. We have to track our sodium and know where we fall on this. And we also have to know our activity level and our habits and what we're doing. Because we all kind of get rid of sodium at different levels, even if they're kind of close. There's some things that could be different. Like, do we use a sauna? Do we use a sauna a couple times a week? Do we use it every day? That's a major factor into how much sodium we're going to need. Just that alone right there, because a lot of sodium is lost when we sweat, which, based off things that I've read, from a 1 hour training session to a 2-3 hour session, depending on the activity level and the sweat lost, we could lose anywhere from 1.2 to 1.8 all the way up to 6 grams of sodium in a training session, depending on the intensity level. And I go hard when I'm doing my conditioning, even in training in the gym, depending if I train at my gym at home, am I training in the summer, am I training in the winter, how much am I sweating, am I doing the sauna that day? So there's not a clear-cut answer I'm finding on, do we keep our sodium between 1,500 and 2,300 milligrams? Or what I'm seeing now, they're saying, especially athletes and people that train really hard, that 4 to 6 grams per day is a sweet spot, because you're replenishing the sodium you're losing. But the quality, like I said, is something. So this is what I've done as I continue to learn, and because I don't know everything, I'm just trying to constantly strive to be better and learn. And I shared my information with you guys. I'm in no way a doctor, and I never will. I always advise you to check with a physician when things. I share, though, because I'm always trying to better myself with this. And sodium is super important. We need it to live. But there's so many variables that go into this. Are we very sedentary in our lifestyles? Are we not sweating? Are we not very active? Do we have some underlying issues where we do have to keep our sodium closer to that 1,500, 2,300 milligram range? There are people that need to do that, but there's also those of us that are way more active that need sodium. But there's a big difference between getting our sodium from pink Himalayan sea salt, Celtic sea salt, different salts that of higher quality, iodized sea salt. Athletes, people that fighters, people that train very hard, you lose more iodine as well. We need to replenish that to a certain degree, right? Otherwise, we start getting adrenal fatigue. There's all these things that could come in that from having low sodium. So, but there's also the problem of I was consuming way too much, right? I was in that 10, 12, I even say higher, knowing how much of those liquid aminos I was using. I think I could be even 14, 15 grams a day. That's a huge difference from 6 grams. There's going to be a huge difference in water retention, a huge difference in inflammation. And so when I scaled it all the way back, and I was coming in at that 1,800 to 2,300 range, and there were days I was coming in at 1,800. I noticed it finally hit me after a day. I did the intense Stairmaster, the elliptical, and then I did the sauna for 30 minutes. and I absolutely felt like pure hell. And I just knew, I go, this ain't right. And I remember I got really cold, and because I'd already done the sodium, I think I was like 9 or 10 days in of keeping my sodium lower. So it just all hit me all at once, and perfectly, luckily, the timing of that book. And I go, whoa, the things I had been told weren't wrong on needing more sodium. I just had to find out what that number was, switch out some of my condiments with low sodium condiments, right? And then use more pink Himalayan sea salt to make up for the difference on that. Maybe they say choose some good habits are like the organic pickles, throwing a few pickle spheres a day just to make sure you're getting the certain sodium level after intense exercise. And that's what I found. So I found cut back on my sodium, for me, about half of what I was consuming, but keeping in that 4 to 6 range, closer to 6, more realistically with the amount I'm going in on. Like days I'm fasting, I'm not going to consume as much on a day like today on my one meal that I'll do later on. But it's important for us to track our sodium and know where we fall, because it's so easy to overconsume with how much sodium is in processed food with all of that. And then it's going to be dependent on our activity level and in finding our sweet spot. In the number that I consume may not be the number that you consume, but I think a lot of people, if you're closer to that 3 to 4 gram range and you're a little bit active and sweating, may be healthier than if you're going 1,800 or 1,500, and then you're not replenishing what you need. But the only way to know, we got to kind of track and see what we're coming in at. And 2, lab work is always really important. Seeing sodium levels and blood pressure is a very good factor on that. And if our blood pressure's high, we know, well, maybe not going down to 1,500, but maybe we need to be at 2,800. It's something we need to track, like our macros, that we don't, and it's not talked about enough. And then oftentimes, and like people that told me, they're like, oh, salt everything. You need tons of sodium. You're losing it training. That's not wrong, but there's a limit. You could do too much as well. So that's where I found, okay, I'm glad I read 2 books on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and that I could kind of find that balance in between. But the really beneficial thing is pink Himalayan sea salt and iodized sea salt. And even something I didn't realize, in a lot of the sea salts, that it's not in the pink Himalayan sea salt. There's a lot of microplastics in the sea salt we get from the States because of what our oceans. That was something I wouldn't even have thought about, but it makes perfect sense. The salt's coming from the ocean. What are we doing? We have a huge plastic problem, not just in a lot of places, but here specifically with what we're doing. So that's where the pink Himalayan sea salt is really, really beneficial. By the way, WWE is fake wrestling. Thank you. I was completely unaware that that is a physical actor. I didn't know that, but that will help me going back, knowing that, I think, a lot, knowing that information now. What olives? Let me see. What else do we got going on? Justin, good to see you, man of steel. Have you been sticking with the native deodorant? Yes, I have. I tried Harry's deodorant, the Shave Club people, and it sucks. Back to native. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of native. I will say the only time is like, I think for me too, showering twice a day, morning and after training or before bed is beneficial. I use an that surgical scrub soap. I forget the name of it, but it's an antimicrobial. It's this, they give it to you before surgeries to use at home. You could buy it on Amazon. It's like $10 for a little bottle, but I use a little bit of that and put that under my armpits in the shower, and that helps to kill a lot of bacteria. But that native deodorant is the best natural deodorant I think we'll ever experience. I had tried many other ones many years ago, and it was just not happening. And I haven't gone back. It's the only one I use now. Man of Steel, you won me over huge with that. your recommendations carry a lot of power now, man, to steal from that one solid you did me. You do help people helping people. What a lesson to be learned there. You just give, this is what I try to do here, is just give you guys recommendations of things that helped me and add value to people's life. And if you want to buy Feed Me More Nutrition in you know, as a thank you, cool. If you don't, cool. People helping people, though, makes the world go round. Better place. Let me see. We got a home gym question here. Buzz D. Mail says, I'm building a home gym. So far, I have an elliptical, 2 35-pound dumbbells, a punching bag, and a Weedman 2980. Getting bench soon. Do you recommend anything else? Thanks, Ryback. Feed Me More. So I think it's really, again, this is a personal preference. I think if you throw some of the bands in there, you can get bands really, really cheap. The different workout bands, and you can get the thicker ones and you hook them around something. I think workout bands are super, super beneficial and allow you to do a wide range of different exercises. And even if you don't have everything available, dumbbells. I'm a big fan. I have all the dumbbells in the garage. I paid a lot of money for them. I don't think you have to do. I think there's other options. They sell those dumbbells where you can. They're self-adjusting in a far cheaper option than buying all the individual dumbbells like I've done, like 5 pounds apart. I got dumbbells from 5 pounds all the way to 150 pounds. And I got all the whole rack in there. And I was able to get that. Right. But I think if you don't have to do that. That was what I wanted to do, having a home gym. And you could do so many things with dumbbells. I think getting a bench, you can get a bench fairly at a decent price, the incline decline bench. And I think getting the dumbbells, buying dumbbells online, whether they're the hexagon dumbbells, the preset ones, that you think are going to be beneficial to you in the ranges that you're going to need them in, I think are a good investment. But I think if you get that bench, you're able to do a lot of exercises off that adjustable bench with some dumbbells on that. And again, it depends on what your finances are. You know, if you gave me, the only reason I don't get more is I ran out of space. But I found like battle ropes are a great thing, and they hang on the wall. And I bought the little thing you just mount into the wall, and it wasn't that expensive. And then I got a good upper body conditioning in there, and I just pulled the battle ropes out when I'm ready to use them, and left a clear path where I ended up putting that on the wall. Yeah, I think you don't have to go crazy. If you buy the right things. I think bands really, really will allow you a lot of freedom as well on that stuff. I think a Bosu ball. I love the Bosu ball. You can do Bosu ball squats. You can do push-ups on the Bosu ball and some other things. You can do some ab stuff on the Bosu ball. I think a Swiss ball is a good investment. And these are all things that are very, very affordable that will allow you to have a diverse workout. And man, you don't have to go to a gym to be in shape. People were in fantastic shape for thousands of years before we started. The modern gym was invented. So I think modern gyms are great, and I love them. I'm very thankful for them. But you know, we could do a lot without them as well. Congratulations, though, man, on doing the gym. I think it's a wise investment, especially too things like COVID happened. You know, a lot of people, I felt for them. You know, I had everything here. I didn't miss a beat during any of that. And that's not bragging or anything. It was, I'm thankful for that. But it was a good investment for that alone. Good question. How do I be a successful person in the future? Very broad question, but it's a question I do have an answer for. And I think success comes with a positive mental attitude, a positive mindset. And I believe, and I will stress this to you guys till the day that I am gone, is fix our food, we fix our mood. So when we learn proper nutrition and we fix our food and eat better food, we will fix our energy. Because the number one thing oftentimes that contributes to a lack of success is a lack of motivation. And a lack of motivation typically comes from a lack of energy. A lack of energy comes from a lack of proper nutrients and a proper diet. So fix our food, we fix our mood. Start consuming better things, our energy improves. Our energy improves, our motivation starts to improve because we have this energy. We have to use it. So we're more motivated to use it. So now we're more prone to ask ourselves, what do I want to do with this energy? Right? And then we have a choice of deciding what we're going to use that energy for. Typically, I advise things that we like best or that we're passionate about that will be beneficial to us. So we start using that energy and that motivation in a very beneficial manner. We have a positive mindset. We're doing things to keep a positive mindset. We're going to attract better things and circumstances and situations over time if we can consistently follow through on all of those. That is my advice on how to be more successful in the future. Congratulations. You say you've dropped 65 pounds in the last year. And what is advice to drop the next 30 to 45 pounds? I think taking the things that you've done and taking a look at your intensity levels, your calories being consumed, I think you got to make more adjustments. You know, there's the blueprint is okay to adjust. You know, the blueprint you had 65 pounds ago needs to be adjusted now to get those next 30 to 45. And it might need to be adjusted to get the next 10 to 15. And then you might have to make more adjustments to get the last 15, 20, 25. And that comes with exercise duration and intensity in the calories we're burning per day, the things that we're doing and the calories we're consuming. You know, also adding a fat burner at the right time, I don't think is a bad idea. And I think especially like our Feed Me More Nutrition Shell Shock Fat Burner, there's nothing like it on the market using natural ingredients with the value that we're giving you. And it will help stimulate your metabolism. Things like matcha green tea that we use a very, very good amount of in stacking it with green coffee bean, but matcha green tea alone can increase metabolism 10, 12, 15%. That's not counting all the other stuff we're giving you with the apple cider vinegar, the L-carnitine, the acai berry, the cool cayenne with the ginger and the cayenne, the green coffee bean, the Asian ginseng, the small amount of caffeine. We have all these other things that are stimulating the metabolism in a natural way. So that could be something. But I'm going to say, look at the calories you're consuming. Where can you make some adjustments? Are you having a late night snack of something where it's maybe a processed food that maybe you're better off switching to maybe some tomatoes, a little bit of tomatoes with some pink Himalayan salt, maybe a little bit of celery, maybe some pickles, maybe a little bit of olives, a little snack where you're getting very minimal calories and very nutrient dense foods, though maybe a little bit of broccoli with a little bit of vegan ranch, just a little, nothing crazy, right? A little bit of carrots. There's better ways where you can make some adjustments and cut calories, but eat nutritious foods that fulfill you. And that's what I found as I constantly try to improve in things I did in the past where maybe they don't work as good now and I got to make a little bit of adjustments. That's the way I think. We will make sure to take care of the spammers. I apologize, guys. I don't know what happened to Ricky Scurvy or Mod. He has fallen off the face of the planet, but I truly hope he is all right. I enjoyed him a lot. What foods help with muscle pain? I would check out, one, adding turmeric and black pepper to your meals, powdered turmeric and black pepper. Black pepper increases the absorption significantly of turmeric, like 1,000-something%, like it's crazy. So black pepper and turmeric really, really cut down on inflammation, which will help with muscle soreness. Also, our Finish It branched chain amino acid electrolyte matrix, BCAAs are great for muscle soreness as well. And we have glutamine in there at 2.5 grams per serving, which I take 2 scoops at once to get 5 grams, is great for muscle recovery as well with our Finish It BCAAs. I'm deep into a fast. I'm feeling it. The big guy's feeling it today. I didn't do anything crazy, I didn't consume a massive amount of calories before this one. So I'm definitely ready to break this fast tonight. I think if you follow our Feed Me More Nutrition, Ryback's Feed Me More Nutrition on Pinterest, we have a lot of workout stuff on there as well. I think Pinterest is a great site in general to get a lot of good little cool workouts or ideas for different workouts in their search feature, and especially with Google, but Pinterest, guys, you can find a lot of really, really, really good workouts dependent on what your goals are and what activities you are partaking in. Good question, Eric. Eric Bowie says, in the long run, my job has unlimited benefits, but it requires me to come in every day and work 10 plus hours. I'm worried I'll burn out because I'm constantly walking in the hot sun. Should I stick it out? So that's a very difficult question in the sense that I don't know your financial situation. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if there's a more viable option with a job with a comparable income. I don't know if you enjoy the work that you're doing or not. We all, at different points in our lives, unless we're born into massive amounts of money, typically work for people for, if not all our lives, or for a period of our lives. Even people that play sports, when I wrestled, as cool of a job as it may be or may seem to people, or you may make a little extra more money doing it, you're still working for other people, unless you're an entrepreneur like doing what I'm doing now, where I work for myself, which is something that I really, 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 really like. But I had to work to save up to get to that point and to be able to, till I understood what was going on and to take control of my life. So having that job isn't a bad thing if it's providing you a life and a roof over your head. And I don't know if you have a family or and whatnot, but there's a lot of things you gotta have in line if you're gonna say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. And well, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna make money? So these are all things you got to ask yourself. And if you're not burned out right now, which it doesn't sound like you are now, you said you're worried about it. I'd say, okay, you're fine now. Keep a more positive mindset. The body's great at adjusting, right? Make sure if it's very strenuous working here in the sun a lot, proper nutrition, replacing lost sodium, again, pink Himalayan sea salt, getting your calories in, making sure you're getting nutritious meals in, right, at the right times when you can, based around your schedule, okay, to make sure you're doing everything you can to feed yourself, to fuel yourself for the job that you're doing. And then, it's one of those situations where maybe you start looking, and I don't know all the details of this, so it's a little difficult, but where you start just looking at other options and you're just looking, you're just searching, you're not doing any harm. You're not quitting anytime soon. And then if you do find something that provides a comparable income that you think you will enjoy more, that may be better for you mentally and physically long-term, then, you reach out, you see if something is available. And if it is, you give proper notice and you go about your business, but you just take the steps and the initiative, the drive to look with that. But a lot of people too, if you're wanting to start your own business, a lot of people don't understand from an entrepreneur standpoint and how much money it actually takes to be able to start a business and then run a business, which is why you see a lot of people start and go out of business really, really quickly, which is why the odds go up every year. And that's why that 5-year mark is what we're at now, is like the mark of like making it in business, which doesn't guarantee you're going to make it. But it typically, if you do, the odds are your odds go up drastically on that. And I think the 3-year mark's another period for that. But you got to have a lot of things in place before that, or making sure income's coming in, and there's a lot that goes into it. And you just don't want to cut off your cash flow if you don't have your ducks in a row, So, but look into your options. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not. Do I analyze my dreams? No. And I do think there's meaning behind a lot of things, but I've had some pretty ridiculous dreams that if I try to analyze, I don't know what I'm necessarily going to get from it. Whereas I've had other dreams that I feel have been very specific at certain times. And, you know, and I'll share one of them was when WWE, after my ankle injury, after I was getting cleared with them and I had no business actually even being cleared, but this was after they tried to fire me and I got attorneys to keep my job. And I wanted to fulfill my dream. And I felt like I chose wrestling over money, where I should have just sued them and taken them for everything for the way this shit was handled with me. And it was, I didn't. And it's something this is why I'm part of me. And then they forced me to drop the malpractice suit with the doctor. Like there were a lot of things why I have to do the things that I do with them, with what they did, where it was like a knife in the back, not once, but multiple times. And I had a dream that when all this was going on with the attorneys and I should have just sued them. But again, I chose my passion over money. I had a dream the night before I went to get cleared where it was I woke up in just a sweat with in the dream, a massive snake was biting me in the face. And as the snake was coming at me, I woke up and jumped out of bed. And I just remember thinking like, what in the fuck? And that dream, I always interpreted as I'm going to bed with snakes, essentially not to be trusted. And that is what it was. And it not because I thought that, but that's what they did time and time again. And they do it to a lot of people. But in something with this is very significant. And which is why things played out the way they did creatively. And it was all underlying stuff that happened tying into all this. But that was a dream I definitely thought had significant meaning, that I remember in vivid detail of how I felt waking up from that and how I interpreted it right away even. But then there's others where that are pretty damn ridiculous. I couldn't tell you what I ate before that dream, my man. It definitely was animal based. I could tell you that much. It was and most likely steak at that point in my life. You're very welcome, Wrestling Culture. Thank you for joining us. I greatly appreciate all you guys tuning in. I always just try to have a little bit of entertainment, inspiration, and share things that have helped me. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm very big on self-development and learning and keeping an open mindset. And like I said, I don't know everything. There's far from it. But I try to take a very fair approach to a lot of things. And I'm always just very, very into self-development. That's interesting. You notice after eating spicy foods, you have more messed up dreams. That is very interesting. I don't know the correlation to that. What happened to my wrestling career? Yeah, no, everything. I'm gearing up to go back for that as far as getting my shoulder ready. Guys, I've talked about it countless times. And I was very hurt. I needed a 5-disc fusion shoulder replacement. They were pumping me full of drugs to keep me going. I had attempted multiple times. The doctors were fully aware of my pain and issues. And unfortunately, I tried, and without trying all the way, of like letting them know I was really messed up, and it just was falling on deaf ears. And I just creatively, I wasn't signing over things. I walked out on a multi-million-dollar contract. I have the contract still. I was not signing over the things that I had already trademarked and what I was going to be doing with the supplements. And and I wasn't happy over things with how they illegally forced me to sign over my name and threatened me multiple times early on in my career when I had inquired about trademarking my name very early on, before developmental even. So it was, this stuff you guys wouldn't be privy to, but this was, I was done. I saved up enough where I was comfortable, and I just said enough is enough, and I took control. And luckily I walked out the day that I did. Had I wrestled for any significant period of time, which I was told could have been anywhere from 3 to 6 months, that I would have had to, definitely the disc would have been degenerated to the point where they wouldn't have been able to be saved by stem cells. And I would have needed the 5-disc fusion. And then I probably would have just got the shoulder replacement, because they would have told me that. And I probably would have, well, if my back is fused, I'll just get my shoulder to get out of pain, because I was in a lot of pain. Instead, I walked out. I stopped all ibuprofen. Their pain medicines wore off. My body broke down. I turned into a 96-year-old man almost instantly. And I wrestled for 2.5 years with a broken down body. I had 19 stem cell procedures. I regrew all 5 discs in my back. I've gone vegan. I've cut down on the inflammation of my body, and the scar tissue that was not breaking up, that my shoulder was completely frozen and just all atrophied, the whole right side, has all come back, and we're at the final stages. So, and I feel like I've kept myself young, youthful. I'm better endurance. I'm healthier. My nose is fixed. I never could breathe through my nose or hear through my left ear my entire wrestling career. I got that fixed instantly. I'm in such a better place mentally and physically that I think my prime years are going to be coming up for a long, long time. I really firmly believe that. And, but I just got to do the things that I'm doing to get my shoulder so that I don't want to be any pain. I don't want to live. I lived in pain my entire life as a wrestler. I love not living in pain anymore. I'm so much happier. And I love pro wrestling, but I want to do it, and I want to do it for a better company and better organization that appreciates talents and wrestlers. And I just wasn't happy with my experience with WWE at all. And like I've said, they've suppressed my social media. They've legally, with everything with this trademark, they're not good. They're not good people. And I know everyone has different experiences, but they are fucking evil. I did nothing wrong to that company. All I did was stand up for myself when they fucking stabbed me in the back. And I never stabbed them in the back. But I took the knife out, and I'll stab those motherfuckers over and over now, because, and I say stab in the context of not really doing it, but through coming back and getting my health and exposing them for the things that they've done. Have to be careful. We're on TikTok. You can't, we're not threatening violence in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I think BCAAs are extremely beneficial, despite, if you're getting adequate protein anyways, which a lot of athletes and stuff are. I think, though, BCAAs really, depending on the timing of it, and, I take 2 to 4 servings a day. I think they're a great way, at the very least, with it, and especially ours with the electrolyte matrix, you're getting more than just BCAAs. I think they're extremely beneficial. I think for vegans too, I think having the leucine in there, leucine in there, I think that it's very beneficial as well for complete proteins, especially if people aren't good with on a vegan diet yet, of knowing what proteins to combine for if they're not eating enough plant-based, like pea protein or different complete proteins, or tofu, soy products, and things of that nature. I think they're very beneficial, but I think, again, though, like, to dieting, I think that's something that, at night, are you better off, having a diet soda with artificial sweeteners, or a couple servings of naturally sweetened BCAAs, electrolytes before bed? I'm going to pick the BCAAs every time. So. What else do we got going on? Yeah, Roger, we talked about the UFC stuff in the beginning of this show. If you go back, once it's up, you should be able to go back and watch it from the beginning. You might be able to now on there, and we talk about all that. I've never seen anybody take that much damage before. But I even said, I put out a tweet. I go, I would run a drug test just to make sure that guy didn't have something in his system. And I say that as a compliment because I've never seen another human being. I think he took like 280 something significant strikes. And I mean, he got rocked. He took some flying knees. And I've just never seen anything where not even the strikes, where his pressure just didn't stop. It was like a Walking Dead zombie, Terminator zombie. I've never, for 3 rounds straight. Unreal. I'm going to YouTube and see if he's ever been knocked out. I was like, has anybody ever knocked that guy out? Because that is unreal. Yeah, the Bailey injury is really unfortunate. I don't know the details of what happened. I haven't seen anything. But I love Bailey. Bailey was always very sweet and very nice, as I do all wrestlers. I never want to see anybody ever get injured. You can expect Wake Up on a Blueberry, Wake Up Unlimited Energy when this Ryback trademark bullshit's over. If you guys had any idea how much money I've had to spend on my attorney. So that flavor will be coming in 2022 after I win the Ryback trademark. Super pumped fans are back for wrestling. I'm so happy for the wrestlers and the fans. I think pro wrestling is not pro wrestling without people. Coffee done. As always, guys, again, it's in the comments in the description here. Feed Me More Nutrition, our weekend promotion that ends at midnight tonight Pacific. All orders $60 and up. You get the free Feed Me More Nutrition Hungry Gym Bag, workout lifting straps with the padding on these. Guys, this is all very high quality workout accessories here with the padding on the inside, and Feed Me More Nutrition workout gloves. A $70 value is yours, free until midnight Pacific. All orders $60 and up. Just go to put $60 in your cart worth of supplements or products on feedmemore.com, and then go to weight belts and accessories. Click on the workout bag, lifting straps, and workout glove bundle. Add that to your cart, and then use discount code WEEKENDBUNDLE to get a $70 value absolutely free as a thank you. And you can still add the free gift of the Feed Me More Nutrition workout socks, ankle socks, and bumper sticker as well. So you're actually getting closer to like 90, 95, almost $100 value for free until midnight Pacific tonight on all of that. All right, guys. And with that, I got to go start my performance meal on slow. So it's done in about an hour, hour and a half. And it's going to be feeding time for the big guy pretty shortly here. I thank you all for always joining me, and should be back tomorrow afternoon as well for another Monday Ryback Show live. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Stay hungry. Feed me more.